Okay, here we have Year 8, ratio and scale. This is the second part, so I'm going down to question 6. And what I've got here is that Jack is paid £1,800 a month. He spends half his money on rent. He spends the rest on food, bills and savings in the ratio 4:3:2. How much does he spend on bills? Well, first of all, I've got to account for this 1,800 divided by 2. I write that, and that is £900 on rent. Then what I've got is I've got 1,800 take 900, which means he's got £900 left. So what I'm now going to do, set this out as a ratio question. Food, bills and savings. Food is 4, bills is 3, savings is 2. If I look at the total here, the total here is 9, and that goes compares to the £900 that he's got left. I look for the multiplier. We can easily see it, but if we're ever uncertain, do the second divided by the first, and I can see that the multiplier here is 100. So all I've got to do is times everything else by 100. But in fact, if I look at the question, it's actually only the bills I'm interested in. 3 times 100 is 300. If I wanted to check, that would be 400, that would be 200, but that is my answer for bills. 7, calculate the circumference of the circle. Use pi equals 3.14. You need to know the formula for the circumference of a circle. I always use pi d, which some people basically means pi times d. So in this case, the diameter is 20. That's all the way across through the centre. So the circumference is pi times by 20. If this was in terms of pi, I would call it 20 pi. But as it's not, I've got to do 20 times by 3.14. 10 times 3.14 is 31.4. And if I double it, I get 62.8. Circumference is a measurement, so it's in centimetres as it's a length. So here you go, 62.8. Let's go over to here. What we got? Question 8. The ratio of boys to girls in a group is 5:3. There are 80 more boys than girls. Work out how many girls there are. So I've got boys, I've got girls, I've got 5, and I've got 3. When I started seeing these questions, I used to put a column in that showed the difference. So how many more? I called it difference. And there are 2 more boys than girls in this problem. But however, in the real problem, there are 80 more. So all I'm doing is looking at the multiplier, and 80 divided by 2 is 40. So all I've got to do is times by 40. Because I times that by 40, I can times everything else by 40. 5 times 40 is 200 boys. 3 times 40 is 120. I can see the difference is 80. And of course the answer is girls are 120. Question 9, write the ratio in the form 1 to n. I want it like this. What do I do to get from 4 to 1? Well, I divide by 4. What do I do to the 5? I just divide it by 4. Personally, 5 divided by 4 is 5 divided by 4. I don't change these, I leave them as a fraction. And finally, this question, find the gradient of the line segment AB. The gradient is found by doing the height divided by the width of such. So the value of y, the difference in y, divided by the difference in x. M is usually what we refer to as the gradient. I'm going to put m over x. And in this, y over x, sorry, y for me is 4, x is 6. I think I'll simplify it. I'll leave it as a fraction, so the gradient is 2/3.